Cameron to set out Syria strategy to MPs within days. David Cameron is to set out his plan for tackling the crisis in Syria within days, in a bid to win support for airstrikes against Islamic State fighters. It comes after a Foreign Affairs Committee report said the UK should not join Allied bombing in Syria without a coherent international strategy on island. The government has said it will only call a vote when it is sure to win. The SNP said it would not back action without clear and legal authority, while Labour MPs are divided on the issue. The Prime Minister will appear in the House of Commons in the coming week to set out a full-spectrum strategy, including military, counter-terrorism and humanitarian actions. Paris attacks like reporting, Manhunt continues terror attacks, Belgium looking for several suspects. Newspaper reviewer, Cameron war plan and UK security fears. Chancellor George Osborne said MPs would then have time to digest that response and the government would take stock of what support it could count on in a parliamentary vote. He said it was very easy to always count the cost of getting involved in conflict overseas, but Britain could no longer stand on the sidelines in the fight against Ireland. Privately, some Labour shadow ministers say they may be willing to support the Prime Minister rather than their own more cautious leader Jeremy Corbyn if a convincing case is made, BBC political correspondent Ian Watson says. What do other parties think? In a speech on Saturday, Mr Corbyn, who is under pressure to allow his MPs a free vote on the issue, warned against external intervention in Syria. His close ally, Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell, said if there had to be troops on the ground in Syria, they should come from the region itself. The US and the UK getting involved in another war in the Middle East played into the EU's narrative of crusader invasion, he said, and would also not defeat the group's supporters located in most of our capital cities. Meanwhile, SNP Deputy Leader Stuart Hosey said his party would not support any proposal for UK military action in Syria without a Chapter VII resolution which actually permits military action, so that it's legal. He added that any resolution would not necessarily be enough to ensure SNP support, and that confirmation that the action would be effective and a post-conflict plan were also needed. The SNP has 55 MPs at Westminster. The Democratic Unionist Party in Northern Ireland, which holds 8 seats at Westminster, said it would back British military force in Syria provided it was realistic and in the national interest. MPs voted against UK military action against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government in 2013, but they did later approve British airstrikes against IS extremists in Iraq. IS has claimed responsibility for the gun and suicide bomb attacks in the French capital on November 13, which left 130 dead, as well as recent attacks in Tunisia, Egypt, Beirut and Turkey among others.